Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Sorry about that. So we are now
It's okay.
recording. And we're in a quiet room so I can hear you clearly.
All right, great.
Yeah. So what were you doing down there? You were ringing the bell. For who?
Ringing the NASDAQ, the stock opening bell for the NASDAQ stock trading. I don't know anything about stocks. So it was Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney and the Breast Cancer Research Foundation to raise awareness of the need for research.
Got it. Oh, that's wonderful.
So as a big group, we rang the opening bell, and they show that on CNBC and Fox News every morning. They show the opening bell.
Yeah. I was wondering what was the occasion that brought you there, but you said it was a congresswoman. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Is that your first time?
My first time ringing bells. So it was quite an experience. And
nice.
Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney has been a big opponent, I guess that's the right word, for the need for breast cancer research and works hand in hand with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. And she happens to represent my district. So not only is she a big supporter of breast cancer research, I'm a member of her constituency.
Yeah. So it makes sense why they would want you there to be with her.
She didn't know that she represented me.
Oh,
so
wow.
I told her.
Wow. That must make you proud to have her as a congresswoman.
Yeah, and I made sure that I told her that I specifically voted for her. And she was thrilled not only to know that I was there speaking about the need for breast cancer research, and she represents me, and I went out of my way to vote for her.
Right.
So it's a mutual admiration thing at this point.
Absolutely. So I read a little bit about your backstory, and that you had actually, you're really a two-time cancer survivor.
Survivor, yes, but living with cancer, I wouldn't call myself a survivor.
Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about your first experience?
When I was 14 in 1995, the summer before my freshman year of high school, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia and underwent 2 years of chemo during my freshman and sophomore years of high school. So I started high school totally bald, loaded on steroids, and pale as a ghost, and had no energy. And was very sick all the time. There were times when I would literally throw up 18 times in one day, and had to have spinal tap every 6 weeks for 2 years. And somehow I still managed to graduate high school on time with my class, and even made high honor roll and got into George Washington University, which is a school that some of my peers who are in high school full time still didn't get into.
What did you, well, actually, let me backtrack. How was your experience as a student in high school? I mean, did you feel, how did you feel?
Well, as a teenage girl, even before social media, all you want to do is fit in and blend in with your friends. You don't want to stand out in any way. So being so obviously sick looking, I tried to avoid. I avoided all pictures. My friends were accommodating. They understood that I couldn't do the same things that they could do. So when we had sleepovers, they understood that when I got tired, it was time to go to sleep. Or we would just go to the mall until I had to sit down, and then they would continue shopping. But we did typical teenage girl things like going to see the movie Clueless. But they also tried to avoid talking about dates that they were going on in front of me because clearly being bald and stuff, I was not attracting the cute guys. I wasn't exactly prime high school dating material.
Yeah. And so as you got older in high school, did any of that change, or did you just become more focused on your studies?
By the time I graduated, I was 2 years out of treatment. So my hair had grown back. I lost some of the steroid growth and sort of was able to go to school on a normal basis. Although my immunity was still compromised, I would get every cold and flu that came around. So I just had to be careful about being around people who were sick. But by the time I was a senior, I quote-unquote looked normal and went to prom and did all the graduation activities like senior cut day and all the fun stuff.
That's nice.
And by the time I went to college, nobody knew anything. I didn't actually tell my college friends until after we graduated, because I just wanted to be seen as normal and healthy, and I didn't want them to ask questions. So even my best friends from college, who are still my best friends, I didn't tell until like 2 years after we graduated.
2 years. During that time, you didn't have to ever go for like checkups or anything like that at the doctor, or?
I was followed up about once a year, but that was always during summer or winter breaks. So once I was being cured, I was set free into the world.
Right. And that was important to you, just to be, I guess you didn't want anyone to treat, you didn't want anyone to treat you differently.
And I didn't want them to ask questions.
So what was their reaction when they found out?
They were shocked. They're like, how did you keep this a secret? And they were angry that I didn't tell sooner.
Mhm.
And now that's sort of why I'm an open book this time around. Because I feel like I kept that a little too close to my vest. And didn't speak enough about what I was going through at the time. And people didn't understand the chemo and the treatments and how I was feeling physically or emotionally. So now I'm doing the complete opposite. I feel like it's more important than ever to share what a breast cancer patient's life truly is like, especially as a younger woman. Because even though I already had cancer before my own diagnosis, breast cancer to me was something that was just cured and a quote-unquote easy cancer. And I didn't understand that people actually died from it. And I thought you just got a mastectomy and new breasts, new boobs, and then you were fine and moved on. So now I feel the need to teach people that that's not the truth.
Can you, if it's okay with you, can you tell me about your second experience and how you found out that you were diagnosed?
I had a 19-year break in between my cancer diagnosis, or diagnosis. I don't know what the plural is. So in May of 2014, while I was putting on a bra, I felt a palpable lump right under where my underwire of my bra was. And
how old were you at this point?
I was the week of my 33rd birthday was when I was diagnosed.
Okay.
Literally. So I turned 33 on May 11th and was diagnosed May 5th.
Wow.
So somewhere between 32 and 33. Whole round to 33. So I found the lump myself. And from my previous cancer experience, I knew that anything you find that's weird in your body, don't wait. Go get it looked at. Because chances are it's nothing, but you don't want to take that chance. So I called my gynecologist right away and had her feel it. And the same day, she sent me for a mammogram and a biopsy. And then when she sent me for the biopsy, I was like, okay, this is probably something. Because she wouldn't do a biopsy if she felt, and a mammogram if they felt like this was nothing or this was cyst. So even before the results of the biopsy came back, I knew that it was going to be cancer.
And
so I got the results of the biopsy back on Cinco de Mayo, 2014. They called me as I was planning lunch at work with coworkers to go out to get Mexican food and margaritas. And I went back into their office and said, guys, I can't go to lunch. I have cancer. So that was literally how I told my first person. Like, I can't get margaritas with you. I have cancer.
oh my God.
I was like, I don't know what else to do. So that's literally what I did. And then I got in a cab and went home from work and called my mom, who also knew that it was going to be malignant. And she came into the city. She lives in New Jersey. So she came in, and then two of us were like, okay, now what do we do? I guess we have to find an oncologist or something. And we went to lunch and got sushi to try and figure out what happens next. It was very surreal. Eating California rolls, figuring out what to do now. And being that I live in New York City, to me, to us, the only place to consider going was Memorial Sloan Kettering. Because I live 30 blocks from like the best cancer hospital in the world. So why would I go anyplace else?
True.
I had been part of a research study at Sloan Kettering that followed adult survivors of childhood cancers. And so I called that researcher and said, okay, so I was just diagnosed with breast cancer. What do I do? So she gave me the phone number of a breast oncologist that she recommended. So I called her office and said, I'm a new patient. Can I be seen? So I met with her, and she's still my oncologist today, 4.5 years later.
What's her name?
Dr. Diana Lake.
Okay.
And she's the best.
And so what did she say to you when you first met her?
She first did an exam, like to feel the lump and feel if there are anything in my lymph nodes. She originally felt that I'd be stage 3B. And based on that, then here's what she would recommend. 6 weeks of chemo, followed by a mastectomy, and then radiation. But she wanted to do a PET scan just to be sure it hadn't spread anywhere, and she was correct about the staging. So I'm so grateful that she did that PET scan, which took place May 14th, 2014, so 3 days after my 33rd birthday. And because that PET scan showed that I actually had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So by the time it was discovered, it had already spread to my right lung and sternum. So happy birthday. You have terminal cancer. So I'm so glad that she did that just in case PET scan, because if she didn't, we never would have known.
Right.
So the words that she used to describe stage 4 is treatable, but not curable.
Okay.
So she didn't actually use the word terminal. She said treatable, but not curable.
Okay.
And here I am still 4.5 years later, and the average survival rate is 3 years.
Wow.
And then in February of 2016, I started having seizures. And that's when Dr. Lake sent me
Having what?
Seizures.
Oh, seizures. Okay.
So that's when Dr. Lake sent me to have a brain MRI. We learned that the breast cancer spread to 8 lesions in my brain. And one of them was pressing on a seizure center of my brain. There's lots of swelling, which was causing the seizures.
Oh, my goodness.
And at that point, they had told me I'd make it a year, I'd be lucky. And that was February 2016. So I'm not a statistic.
No, you're not.
That's why I don't believe in asking about survival rates or odds or whatever, because I know that everybody reacts differently.
It's true. And it takes a good doctor to not treat every person like they're the same, to treat every case differently too.
And not only that, I've become so aware of all the clinical trials and drugs that are being tested that if I bring to her something that I read about and said, I want to try this, she'll let me. And that's currently how I got on one of the 3 chemos. I'm currently on 3 different chemos. And that's how I got on one of the chemos that I'm on now, through my own education and advocacy and speaking with my doctors about, I want to try this one. And they let me do it. And I've been on it for a month, and I've been having a lot of progression in the cancer in my brain, as in it kept growing. And I had a double craniotomy in April. And it still was growing after they took some out. So I read about an oral chemo that's traditionally used for quote-unquote normal brain cancer, like neoblastoma, but they're now trying in metastatic brain cancers, as in other types of cancers that spread to the brain, which tend to be breast, melanomas, lung, pancreatic. So I said, I want to try that one. And they let me. And after 1 month, not only did it show great improvement in my brain, but it showed decreased cancer activity.
Wow. And that's because you took that initiative.
Yep. And because I have great doctors who are also willing to listen to me and know that I'm educated enough about my own disease that when I bring them something, it's probably because I did research.
Yeah.
And they're willing to let me try it.
And how do you do your research? Just online, or do you talk to different researchers, or how do you?
I saw that this chemo was being used in some clinical trials, but I was not a fit for the trial because your brain had to be stable, as in no growing or active disease. So I was not eligible for the trial. Because at that point, I was still having progression. But this drug actually brought me to stable.
Okay.
So through looking at what other researchers are doing in clinical trials and just paying attention to what's going on in the breast cancer research world, I'm a member of the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance as a patient advocate. So I learn a lot through them.
In that role, do you talk to a lot of women, current cancer patients?
Well, the alliance is made up of the top pharmaceutical companies and breast cancer nonprofit groups, and other patient advocates. So they all share research among each other.
Okay.
And I've gone to conferences representing the alliance.
Got it.
And we'll be going to one next month, the Metastatic Breast Cancer Conference in Baltimore at Johns Hopkins.
Wow.
Which is being sponsored by a foundation that's a member of the alliance.
You know, when most people are sick, and I mean mildly sick, they don't even want to leave their house. So how do you find the strength to be an advocate and go to these conferences and do the work?
I had to stop working full time, which I hate because I have a master's from NYU. So
where were you working?
I've worked for the NHL for 5 years, for the WWE for 2 years. When I was diagnosed, I was the licensing manager for a slot game company.
Oh, wow.
And I was there for 1 year before I was diagnosed.
Okay.
So now I'm on disability and can only work 20 hours a week. But I'm still...
Which is still a lot.
Yeah, and I'm still very grateful because I'm able to work in the same sales and industry that I was in before my diagnosis, just on a much more limited role. And I currently work for the NFL.
Oh, wow.
In a role that they created specifically for me.
What is the role?
In their licensing group as a product consultant.
Okay.
Because I did everything you're not supposed to do in an interview. I was very candid and told them right away about my diagnosis and my health needs, and that I was on disability and can only work 20 hours a week at minimum wage salary, which is ridiculous. So I was making 6 figures before. So to go from that, where I had people reporting to me, to being a contract employee At least I feel like I'm still contributing, and my education and experience in work is not wasted, and still gives me someplace to go every day and get dressed and feel like I'm quote unquote normal.
And so it gives you a sense of normalcy. Normalcy.
Yep. Because when I'm taking the subway to work, I just look like your normal commuter.
Mhm.
Because right now I have all my hair and don't look sick. That's one of the things that people generally don't understand about chemo, is that not all chemo causes hair loss. So right now I'm on 3 different chemotherapies, none of which happen to cause hair loss. So right now I look normal and healthy. Nobody would look at me and think that person has terminal cancer.
And energy-wise, how does the chemo make you feel right now?
There are weeks when I have all 3 chemos. There are weeks when I just take the daily oral. When I have all 3 chemos, that weekend I'm usually pretty tired. But that only happens once every 3 weeks.
Okay.
But I do have to walk with a cane now for a bit.
Okay.
I started physical therapy yesterday, actually.
That's good. Physical therapy can be painful, but it can be rewarding over time.
Yeah. I think it'll be hugely beneficial because the only reason why I need it is because I'm having balance issues. Because of the cancer that was in my brain. Threw me off balance, and my left leg is now numb.
I see.
I was with my 3.5-year-old nephew, and I saw him kicking me, but I didn't feel it. And I was like, I should be feeling this. So it was weird to see someone physically kick me and then feel nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm having some problems walking up and down steps that don't have railings. So that's why physical therapy will help me to get me more secure in my environment and build up stability. Especially before the winter comes and it gets snowy and icy. Yeah.
Definitely. You are a true fighter, I have to say. I think when you're telling your story, it just seems like this is your life and that's your normal. But for someone like myself, when I hear you say that, you fought to find your research and you went to an interview and you're still working in your advocacy, and I admire your resilience.
I had a
so
choice
much.
into it, but I want to live and I want to watch my friends who also have metastatic breast cancer also live.
And watch what?
My friends that I've gotten to know that also have metastatic breast cancer also live. Because I've seen too many of them pass away in the 4 years since I've been diagnosed. Some even younger than me, who are leaving behind small children who will never know their mother or father. Because it's important to know that not just women get breast cancer, but men get it too. Many people don't realize that it impacts anyone with breast. And as humans, we all have them. And it doesn't discriminate. can be any age, any gender, any nationality, any social economic status. I had no genetic mutations, although they did discover that childhood cancer survivors, especially ones that had leukemia and underwent some of the chemos that I did, have a tenfold increase of risk of getting breast cancer at a younger age than their non-survivor peers.
Really?
Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time because I was actually part of that research study.
Wow. Are they saying that the chemo that's given to you at that age can cause it?
Yeah, because I was going through puberty at the time, so my body was still developing.
Okay.
Even though I started my period, I was still in the end stages of puberty.
Yeah.
So it's not only the chemo and the age, but the type of cancer that increases your risks.
Mhm. So
That's why research is important, because if the doctors knew this in 1995, we would have known to give different type of treatment or for me to be closely monitored. Because at the time they told me the only long-term risk factor that I might have is heart problems. They were not concerned about any secondary cancer. This is a cancer caused by a different one.
Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming
I'm a believer in research.
Yes, so I'm assuming that children today who are diagnosed with leukemia are not prescribed that same type of chemo.
Nope. And now there are all sorts of classes of new drugs, like immunotherapies and other things that were not available all those years ago.
Yeah.
When I was diagnosed, the survival rate was 70%. I think now it's like 90.
Wow. It goes to show you how important research is.
Yeah. And if they had known that, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. But they would have known to give me mammograms at least once a year. And they would have possibly caught it before it got to my lungs and sternum.
So can you describe, if you could just take me through a day in your life, how does that go? You wake up and then what happens?
Well, I'll go through yesterday because that was a normal day when I didn't ring the bell at the DASA.
Yes.
So yesterday I woke up at like 6:30 from sleeping and wake up way sooner than I should, and went to my first physical therapy assessment appointment where they looked at my issues and assessed what they could do to help me, and then scheduled my following physical therapy appointments, which they want to see me twice a week for 6 weeks. And then after that, I went right to work. This physical therapy happens to be 2 blocks from my office. And I was at work from probably 11 to 4:30, and then came home watched TV for a bit, had dinner, and then took my evening pills. I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pills a day. So I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 at night.
Wow.
That's less than I had been taking.
Right, right. And so when you finally get home at the end of the day, what do you think about? Like, where does your mind go?
I love FaceTiming my nephew, who's 4, well, 3.5. He'll be 4 in April.
Mhm.
And I love seeing his squishy face.
Mhm. Does he live in New York?
He lives in Westchester.
Okay.
And he's going to be a big brother in February.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Is this your sister?
my brother.
Your brother. Okay.
And his wife.
Got it.
So my nephew was born 11 months after I was diagnosed. And my greatest fear was that I wouldn't live long enough for him to remember me and how much I loved him. Now he'll be 4 in April, and I feel secure in that he'll definitely remember Auntie Becca. And I can't wait to watch him be a big brother and hold my newest nephew in February.
That'll be a beautiful day for sure.
And it's so funny because sometimes my nephew Sam will say, "I'm having a baby." And then look at his stomach and say, "My baby wasn't here." So I think he's a little confused. But very cute.
Yeah. He kind of understands it. He understands that the baby's in the belly, I guess.
But he doesn't understand
who's carrying it, right? Oh.
And he's gonna be a Ninja Turtle for Halloween.
Oh. So you're gonna go over the house and.
Probably not just on Wednesday.
Okay.
But I'll just see pictures.
Yeah. That'll be nice.
I live in a big apartment building, and you can sign up for trick-or-treaters because there are a lot of kids. So I'm debating whether I want to do that or not.
Mhm.
And just to see the kids in their costumes and give them candy. But I'm not sure if I want to deal with that or just rest. So I'm still debating.
Yeah. Well, you have time, and it just depends on how you feel that day.
And I kind of don't want to end up with all the candy myself.
True. That too. Definitely.
But here's the old Halloween issue of, do you run out of candy or do you buy too much and then eat it yourself?
Right. Or you just bring it to work and, dump it off on other people.
It's a tricky balance at Halloween.
It is. In terms of like your diet, is there anything that you stay away from or?
Well, I never liked soda in general.
Okay.
I feel like it's just all chemicals.
Mhm.
It's not good for you.
Mhm.
But that's not a cancer-specific thing. That's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Since I'm on steroids, I try and avoid sugar a lot because
Okay.
on steroids that turns to fat really quickly.
Yeah.
But I probably drink too much coffee, more coffee than I should.
Mhm.
But I'm a Starbucks addict.
What's your favorite drink?
I actually like their blonde roast better
Oh, I like their blonde. Yeah.
because it's not as bitter.
Mhm.
So actually today my drink was an iced blonde latte with soy milk and peppermint syrup.
Ooh, I have to try that.
Their soy milk is vanilla flavored. So when you add in the peppermint syrup, the balance of the peppermint and vanilla with the blonde roast is awesome.
Oh, wow.
So that's my go-to and what I recommend to everyone.
I might try that today.
You have to. It's like the best thing.
I'm a chocolate girl, so I normally go for something with chocolate in it or a blonde if I'm just doing a coffee by itself. But that sounds delicious.
And you don't need to add any sugar or anything.
Right, because that soy is enough.
That,
yeah.
It's like the best thing. I can drink like a venti of it in like 3 minutes.
What are some other like fun or favorite things that you like to do that aren't, related to cancer?
I've always
Just
been
Rebecca.
a sports fan. I've always been a big sports fan. And my father has Rangers season tickets. And now that hockey started again, I want to go to a game.
Oh, that's nice.
And my father actually still plays hockey once a week at 68.
Wow. That's impressive.
I love watching sports either in person or on TV.
Mhm.
And I love traveling. I'm one of the few people that can actually say that they've been to all 50 states.
Oh, nice.
And airport layovers and just driving through doesn't count. You actually have to do something in every state for it to count. Yeah. And I've done that.
Wow. When did you start traveling to 50 states?
As a teenager.
Oh, so it was something you did as a family.
Well, my brother and I were in a competition.
Mhm.
And I beat him. I got my 50th state, which was my last state, was Colorado. And I got it New Year's Eve 2017.
Nice.
So I rang in New Year in literally a new state.
So what's your favorite state?
Well, it's hard to say that because every state is different for different reasons. Like, some states are my favorite because they're amazingly beautiful. Some states could be my favorite because the people that I went with or the random thing I did there. So they're all different for different reasons. I mean, I could say New York is my favorite because that's where I live.
Yeah. Those are really good memories.
Yep.
And experiences.
I have pictures at most of the state signs.
Oh, nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. And a few of them I got after I was diagnosed. When I was diagnosed, I had like 6 states left. And then I somehow still managed to get the remaining 6.
I'm not surprised.
The trickiest one was Hawaii.
I'm sure. And expensive.
So my aunt and uncle took me to Hawaii actually 3 years ago, October 2015, when my cancer was stable.
Wow.
And it was stable enough for me to travel that far for 10 days.
Wow. That's a nice trip.
Yep. So we had an amazing time. We went to 2 islands.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm glad you got to see that.
So that could be one of my favorite states. It's the hardest one to get.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to spend a real amount of time there, you know, island hop, as they say.
Yep. Alaska, I went via a cruise for my 30th birthday and my mom's 60th, which is also the same year that I graduated NYU from my master's degree. So it was a gift for my birthday and master's graduation and my mom's birthday. So the one on our mother-daughter Alaska cruise.
Mhm.
Now it's also beautiful. And as a New Yorker, you get there and you smell the air and you're like, oh, this is what clean air is supposed to smell like.
That's how I feel whenever I'm on the Upper West Side.
So just imagine the air in Alaska.
Right, right.
It's just like, oh, so this
Correct.
is clean air.
Yeah. Refreshing. Oh, man. I need to go there. For sure.
It was amazing, especially watching it from a cruise ship because you see the glaciers as you go by, and the dolphins in the water, and it's just like coasting along.
Yep. Yep.
And I went dog sledding.
Wow. You had a good time.
Yeah, so that's why I said you can't just say one state's your favorite because they're all different for different reasons.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm not the least bit surprised that you completed that task because you complete everything. You are a high achiever, if nothing else.
I was in competition with 6 of my friends from high school, and we all had the same goal to get to all 50 states.
Yeah.
And I won. So suckers. I definitely did not rub it in the face at all.
Right, right, right. Oh, man. I think my last question would be, and, you know, forgive me for the cliche of it, but I do think that there's something to be said about your spirit and your attitude, in spite of everything that you are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And so what is something that you can share to another woman, you know, who you don't know, but who may be going through similar circumstances and maybe doesn't have that same spirit that you have?
I would say allow yourself to feel what you're feeling when you feel it. Mm-hmm. Like if you feel lonely or overwhelmed or just tired, just own it and feel your feelings. If you don't want to talk to people, they'll understand. To say, I need time alone. I'll call you when I'm ready to speak. Mm-hmm. And I do that. I just say, not now. I need to be alone. I'll call you when I'm ready. So allow yourself to feel what you need to feel when you feel it, and then eventually break yourself out of it by thinking about something else or taking a walk or watching nonsense TV, and eventually you'll come around again.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
I will definitely be following up with you this week once the article is written, and it's, I'm sure we'll be in contact for, pictures and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And, you'll be hearing from me soon. But
Great.
I really
Thank
just
you
want
so
to
much,
thank
Courtney.
you for taking the time, because
And
your
if you
story is very, very special.
Then if you have Instagram, I have an Instagram account that is specifically related to my life as a metastatic breast cancer patient. It's BECS, BECS, breast.
BECS?
Yep. Breast effort. It's sort of like a pun.
Effort?
Yep. Like BECS, breast effort.
Got it.
A pun on best effort.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I look
And,
forward to speaking to you later.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Courtney.
Have a great day. Now that
You too.
what are you going to do now? You had an interview, you were at the stock exchange,
I'm going to go and watch all the pilots from the fall TV season that have been sitting on my DVR.
Well, enjoy.
There's some good ones.
There are some good ones. I don't know if you watched This Is Us, but it's a good season.
I'm caught up on.
Okay.
But I Manifest and New Amsterdam and A Million Little Things and all these other new fall shows.
Oh, yeah. I saw a little bit of
and I have to catch up on the old fanboy SVU.
Yes, absolutely. Those never get old.
Yep.
All righty. Well, it was great getting to know you a little bit. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.